All right, what is going on, guys? Dale here. Welcome to the video. So today there's not going to be a super long intro because it's completely unnecessary. What I'm going to be going over is 5 things that I wish I knew and I think everybody that is just starting weightlifting needs to hear before they start, just to keep your expectations in line, keep them realistic, and make sure that your lifting is as enjoyable as possible. So let's get right into it. These are in no particular order, by the way, just 5 tips. The first thing is, when you're in the gym, when you're in a weight room, at school, or wherever you're starting, nobody cares what you're doing. Not one person in there is looking at you and thinking, oh my God, they have no clue what they're doing. I can't believe they had the balls to come here. Nobody's thinking that. I know that's a common thought in most beginners' heads and most people that don't like to go to the gym because they think that everybody's looking at them or stuff like that. Really, people do not care what's going on. If that fear is keeping you from going to the gym, don't worry about it. Everybody has to start somewhere. Just get in there and start going. Which leads me directly to my next piece of advice or tip or whatever you want to call it. And that is going to be to stay consistent no matter what you do. I did a video a few weeks ago about the best tip for new people to exercise in 2021. And I am going to reiterate that here. The more consistent you are with your weight training or with a diet, the better results you're going to have. The longer you're going to be able to do something, obviously the better you'll get at it and the more your body will have to adapt. So in terms of weightlifting, you're not going to start out being super strong. Anybody who weightlifts that you may see in the gym going, wow, I wish I was as strong as that person, they started weaker than they're at now. It's just they were able to stay consistent with it and keep progressing over time. And that's the same thing that you need to hear. I know when I first started going to the gym, I was discouraged a lot because of how weak I was compared to my friends. And now those same people that may have stopped weightlifting or that I don't see anymore would look at me and think that I'm stronger than them. And it's just because I've stayed consistent and I've kept doing it for a longer period of time. That's all it is. Which also will segue into another piece of advice that you need to hear, and that is you are not better than anybody else just because you have muscles. I know a lot of people that are very, we'll say, stuck on their high horse because they lift weights. Anybody can lift weights if they want to. This isn't like a special privilege that you can do that nobody else can do. It doesn't make you better than other people just because you have muscle. I don't know why that's a thing, but a lot of people seem to think that, the bigger I get, the stronger I get, the more I could boss people around, tell them what to do. That's ridiculous. Keep that in mind also when you're in the gym and you see someone that has a lot of muscle. They're not always mean people just because they're jacked. That doesn't really make any sense. I know when I first started weight training, I was nervous to either ask for a spot from someone who was much bigger than me because I just thought that they would brush me off and think that since they were bigger, that they were better, whatever. The more I weight train, the more I realize that that's just not true. I've spotted many people that are smaller than me. I've spotted people that are bigger than me. It's just kind of one of those things that is in your head up front, is that these people are just not nice because they have a lot of muscle. So if you ever get to the point where you have a lot of muscle, just keep that in mind too. People do not care that you have muscle. Girls are not going to like you because you have muscle. So if you're weight training to get girls, I'm sorry, that probably isn't going to be the determining factor of whether a girl likes you or not long term. So there's that. Another thing, and this is very important for both men and women getting into weightlifting, and that is to stay away from the perfect physique. So what I mean by that is it's very common to get into Instagram accounts or look at magazines when you're checking out at the grocery store and see these people that, one, get paid to be absolutely shredded. 2, it is their full-time job to be absolutely shredded. And 3, are probably using additional help in terms of supplementation that you should not be looking into to get that shredded. This physique is not attainable to most people. It is difficult to achieve, and genetics play a huge role in whether you're going to end up looking like that or not. And 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna look like that. Realistically, it's probably like 95 times out of 100, you're not gonna look like that. So stay off of these Instagram accounts of these famous people that are paid to be shredded if you're going to get discouraged about your physique. I follow a ton of these accounts myself. I'm not gonna say I don't. However, I don't look at them wishing that I looked like that, because I know that that's just not how weight training works. A lot of stuff goes into your physique. A lot of it is genetics, and there's nothing you can do about your genetics. Thank your parents. Stay away from stuff like that. People tend to get discouraged, and it oftentimes hinders the ability to start weight training because you don't look anything like the magazine cover. And I'm telling you that obviously you don't look like the magazine cover. They get paid to do that. So stay away from that stuff. And my final thing that gets beaten to death, but I feel like I have to reiterate it when making a video like this, and that is going to be that you are competing with yourself. So no matter what reason you got into weightlifting, you wanted to lose weight, you wanted to be a better athlete, you wanted girls to like you, you wanted to just improve your overall health, whatever the reason is that you got into weightlifting, you need to understand that you are competing against you. Day in, day out that you're weightlifting, you're competing against yourself, not somebody else. I just had this conversation yesterday with one of my brothers who had just started weight training kind of seriously, and he was telling me that he didn't feel like he was as strong as he should be. So I talked to him and I said, well, how strong do you think you should be? Because when you're weight training and you get into all these things of media and all that stuff, you compare yourself to the best people. And obviously you're not going to be as strong as them. They've been doing it for years, like I said before, with the consistency, or their genetics are just better, or whatever the case may be. Don't compare yourself to other people in weightlifting. You're comparing yourself with you. So what I told him was, what was your 5 rep max on a back squat months ago? Oh, it was 50 pounds lighter than it is today. Well, there you go. You're stronger than yourself from 3 months ago. Those are the kind of things that you need to understand before you start doing this, because it's going to drive you crazy, especially if you're somebody who's a very competitive person. Like myself, like my brother is, we both have athletic backgrounds where we've been competing our whole lives. So we're competitive. We want to be better than other people in terms of numbers and stuff like that. And you have to understand, in weight training, unless you're doing powerlifting, which if you're doing powerlifting, I'm sure you know this already, but if you're just weightlifting to be healthier or be a better athlete or whatever, you're only competing with yourself. That's the only number that you should compare yourself with, is the number that you're doing last time. And if there's an injury or something that happened in between, you need to take that into account. Obviously, you're not gonna be back squatting 400 pounds and then you pulled your hamstring and then 3 weeks later, you're not gonna be hitting 400 pounds. It's not gonna happen. There's things that get into that. But the ultimate bottom line, you're competing with yourself. Do not compare yourself to others, especially when weightlifting, especially with weights and stuff like that. So that is it. Those are the 5 things that I think every beginner to weightlifting needs to hear before they start, and really the 5 concepts that people need to understand if you're a beginner. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you liked any of the information, please hit the subscribe button below, like the video, and I will see you in the next one.